later.
Yeah. Are you, can I talk about dinner?
No, me being off on Tuesday,
Oh.
on Thursday.
Oh,
Okay, right now we're live streaming, so
well,
Deb
you
and
can
Myrna,
take,
this
you
mic
can,
is all yours.
you can take off and for instance, when I'm on with Sharon, we can just do it in the room, you know, like the old days.
Okay, sounds good to me. All right, you guys.
Hi, Regis. I love you sharing. Love you sharing.
All right, well,
Yes, hi, Regis.
Deb
I
and
always
Myrna
call
and
you-
Regis, this mic is all
Blowing you a
yours.
kiss, Regis. Thank you for, he's so thoughtful. He always puts my book up. He wished me a happy birthday. He's right there. Thank you. Anyway, how are you doing, Deb, my friend?
All righty. All righty. Today is a nice day. I met somebody who when I said, can I call you, actually gave me her number to call her. Usually people say, well, call me on WhatsApp or something like that. So, a real person.
Yeah. So how was your weekend?
Slow, nice, peaceful, and right now it's a blue sky, a few puffy white clouds, and everything is perfect.
Yeah.
Hi, Sharon love.
Hi, I want to listen to you while I'm exercising.
All right.
Hi, Sharon. How are you?
Hi, Myrna. How are you,
Good
sweetie?
to see you, honey.
Oh, it's good to see you. Lori Colburn's is coming here today, so she'll be here. She's coming from Philly and then driving back to Minnesota, so she'll be here about 1:30. So I don't know if I'll make tonight, but I'm going to ask her if she'll come on, because she's part of our group. Yeah, I love listening to you, Myrna. I listen to you a lot.
Thank you. I like to hear you too, Sharon, really. I think I think we join together in oneness, and that's why
I
it
just
works so
love
well.
this group. This group is the best. I just
He's
find it.
happy. Happy says, I want to get into the act.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, what are we going to talk about today? A lot has been going on over the last 10 days or so. We're in the throes of recognizing there's a war going on in the Middle East. And so now I try to apply my Course in Miracles thoughts and teachings and ideas into what seems to be devastation. And this is an all-out war, and it's hard not to watch the news, and you want to see what's happening, what's going on. But I can say this, as fearful as some people are right now, and it is a very terrifying time right now. I think that if it were not for the Course in Miracles, I would be a lot more fearful. Because on some level now I'm recognizing that I truly believe that my intuitions tell me that it could be a time of healing, really, in a way. I don't believe the world will allow the obliteration of Israel, the obliteration of a nation. I think the world is civilized, and we're dealing with an uncivilized population, actually. Hamas terrorists, Hezbollah. And we have to now give our faith, our trust, our love, and that's what works. It does work. And I think if the planet is seen by a revelation of people joining together, understanding that we are one, and that there's no room for anything other than love. And if it's not love, it can't exist. It just cannot exist in this society anymore. We talk about higher consciousness. So if we're in a higher consciousness, wouldn't that indicate that the aggression of a power to destroy another power cannot exist? cannot survive. So I look at it that way. I really do. I think I try to dig into my intuition. I heard a very good description of what channeling means. Channeling is intuition, speaking your intuition and being correct. That's the key, speaking your intuition and being correct. And that really hit home with me. I believe that. And intuitively, I believe that we will all come out the better for this. How do you feel, Doug?
Well, I'm glad you asked me that question. I'm looking at today's lesson 290. And like I usually do, I start off with today's lesson, which is my present happiness is all I see. And I always do Ken Wapnick's commentary, which I'm going to put into the room right now, if it's okay. And I'm going to put it in the chat so we can see it too. And Ken Wapnick says, if I see something that is not there, like attack, I guess that's another word for war, pain, that's another word for fear, or specialness, I guess I'm identifying with I'm a special person, body, I cannot be happy, which comes only, keyword is only, by letting go of the ego's thought system that is the source of unhappiness. Oh my God, he sums it all up in literally one sentence. Can you imagine that? Imagine summing up the entire course in one sentence. And that's, you asked me, how do I feel? I guess that's my answer. That's how I feel. Let me put that in the chat so you can read it too. I see something that's not there, either attack or war, pain, fear, or specialness. Yeah, I'm a special person. I have needs, concerns. I don't want that to happen. I wish it didn't happen. I wish something else would happen. I cannot be happy. Comes from letting go of the ego's thought system. That is the source of unhappiness. So, he tells you I think it's chapter 4, section 6, which is called something about the truth. I don't know. In paragraph 6, he says, my trust in you is greater than your trust in me, but it won't always be that way. Your only mission in this world is to not be an ego in a world that was made by the ego so that you can be happy or unhappy being this separated body ego. And if your happiness is based on whether there's a war or not, you can be sure there's always going to be a war. Like David Hawkins says, 97% of the time that mankind has been here on this earth, there's always been a war. And Oprah says, does that mean there's hope? Because the other 3%, there was no war? He said, oh, no. The other 3%, we were too sick from plagues like COVID, or we were too poor from financial depressions like the 1930s, and we couldn't go to war. But we came here to be at war, and who we at war with. And I was listening to Regis, and Regis nailed it. We're at war with God. We look over in the Mideast. Oh no, that's Hamas and that's Israel. And I wish one wins, the other loses, or I don't know which one's supposed to win, but I hope it's over soon. No, it's not happening in the Middle East. It's happening in my mind. You got to laugh. And with that, I'm going to turn this mic back on over to you.
Oh, you're turning it over to me now, right? What do I say? How can I top that? You're right about that.
You don't have to top. You don't have to top it. You don't have to top it.
No, you're right. You're right. But how do I continue? Because what you were saying is right on. It really is. I mean, when I say top it, I mean, I can't deny any of what you said. Yes, there'll always be war. There'll always be something. We've been through so much. I mean, and one thing seems to take over another. We've had COVID, we've had all kinds of different things going on, and now there's a war. Of course, you're so right. The trick is, when I say the trick, the truth is to understand, as you say, that it's an illusion. Is it an illusion? Yes, of course. On the level of truth, everything is an illusion that doesn't pertain to love. So if we are speaking from the heart, okay, and feeling from the depths of our being, which is connection to God, connection to love, then of course we are feeling free. We're feeling the truth of it all, because that is the only truth there is. You're right. But we are in the comfort right now of our own homes. We're not in the throes of war as these people are. So I try to recognize or feel what they must be going through. My husband Charlie has a daughter. My husband passed away in 2012, but his daughter lives in Israel with 4 children in southern Israel. Luckily, they are okay. And of course, I'm concerned, and you want to know that they are thriving. When I say thriving, I don't know if anybody's thriving right now, but they're holding their own. And, all we can do is now, as a consciousness, as a unified beings of God, love, we all are, and to join and to send our love. And recognizing that you're right, perhaps there will be other wars, perhaps there will be other modes of devastation. We don't know what's coming. We only know what's here now. And that's why it's so important to be in the present moment, because if we look to the future, we see doom. I hear people talking and everybody's frightened and everybody has their own prediction, and people have us escalating into a third world war. I mean, this is what you're hearing, and this is what you're dealing with. And, I don't go there. I listen with compassion, but recognizing that we're blessed to be away from that type of devastation right now. And we can aid by feeling only love in our hearts, and extending that, and recognizing that this too will pass. And I think in the end, only good can come of anything, really, because that's what happens when you're feeling the purity of love, the connection to God. You know that God is on your side, and God is on the side of good, not evil. Knowing that's my intuition, really. God is on the side of only love, good. I'm reading the book Age of the Heart. And that too tells us, it's interesting, Age of the Heart is we're in an age right now where our consciousness has elevated on a global level, really. And that's a good thing, because consciousness is love. True consciousness is reaching for God, reaching for the truth of who we are. And it's always love. That's the truth of who we are. And if someone isn't feeling love, if somebody is feeling hatred right now that you're speaking to because of what's going on, all you can do is speak from the part of your heart that's connected to God, to the heart of God, and just feel that all you can feel is love. And if you can extend that to the other, and if you're feeling it, because our thoughts are never really private, our thoughts are true, our thoughts are joined. So if we truly feel that way, perhaps that extension of ourselves, of love, will elevate and bring others with us to that elevation. So what do you have to say about that?
Well, I think you're right on. Yeah. We actually seek out our own level of either understanding or misunderstanding. So, in truth, we don't have to understand it. We literally just have to be what we are naturally. It's like a natural awareness of that what I'm looking at is not real. I mean, lesson one of the course, which I said is a whole course, says nothing I see here means anything. But if I give it meaning, if I give anything in this world meaning, go on to lesson two. I'm the one that gives it all the meaning it has for me. So the reason I give things in this world meaning is I think I'm all alone and I'm looking for something that I seem to lack. And actually, I go back into what Regis was talking about. As long as Regis is here, we can start to include his last talk and not see that our talks are different. They're actually the same. It's like continuous ACIM gather. It's nonstop. We are family. We are community. What one says is perfect for exactly what's going on now. And, he took that thing from lesson 290, today's lesson. He says, unless I look upon what's not there, my present happiness is all I see. Eyes that begin to open and see at last. And I would have Christ's vision come to me this very day. Instead of watching CNN and MSNBC and hoping this and hoping that, and what are they going to do next? There is no next. It's always now. Am I unhappy now? Am I afraid now? Am I thinking that something good should happen next that maybe is better than it is right now? Well, I call that mental masturbation. I'm playing with myself. I mean, what I'm seeing on the movie screen, and remember, it's a screen. If you think it's real, of course you're going to get immersed in amazed, in something that doesn't exist, but you're going down the rabbit hole. And what is the rabbit hole? Some imaginary thing that, like Alice in Wonderland, as the owl said, you must be crazy. She said, why? Everyone that comes here is crazy. So if you were here in this world as a body, you're already, insane. So how do you return to sanity? Well, you just have to see things differently. That's why he has this lesson number 28. Above all else, I'm determined to see things differently. I mean, and that's not a small sentence. I mean, that's huge. Above all else, I'm determined. So the word determined means that I am a cause. I'm not a victim. I'm not seeing something out on the screen and I'm dancing to somebody else's song. So I was talking this morning about Dr. David Hawkins, and he has these levels of consciousness. And until you get to the 200 level, you're basically a victim. And that's why we come here in our insanity thinking that we lost our power. That we're powerless. And isn't that the cause of all of our misery, all of our pain, all of our suffering? You might say, well, Dove, where are you getting that? And where do you think I'm getting it? From the same paragraph I quote almost every single time I'm here. Chapter 21, section 7. The last unanswered question. So whenever Jesus used the word last or only, he wants you to listen. He starts off by saying, do you not see that all of your misery comes from your strange belief? It's a lie that you, the Holy Son of God, is powerless. Really? He's laughing. And then he tells you the only way out of it, now that you have denied the truth, now that you have repressed it, and you want to make up a new world, and you make that real, a world of fear, a world of attack, defense, an imaginary world, and you want to take that as real and replace what is real, which is the love of God, the peace of God. I'm sorry, Charlie, you just can't do that. He says you have an immutable bond, an immutable trust. In this world, they call it an irrevocable trust. That you're trusting in the truth. You're trusting in real knowledge. What you call in this world intellect and knowledge, that's a joke. That's why you got to laugh. That's why Ken Wapnick says, no, this is not 2 + 2 = 4. This is 2 + 2 = 5. This world is not real. It's born from insanity. Oh, yes, they come up with scientific theories and theorems, and you take geometry and you take trigonometry and you take advanced algebra and calculus and differential and integrator, you know, all those things, and you think you're learning something. Getting back to David Hawkins, you know, someone once asked David Hawkins, you know, on your scale and levels of consciousness, where 20 is the lowest, which is shame, and 1,000 is the Christ, and 500 is the beginning of unconditional love. He said, can a scientist move past 499 into 500? And David Hawkins, who was a scientist, remember, author of molecular psychiatry, he invented it along with Linus Pauling. So he's a scientist, and his answer was no. A scientist cannot go beyond 499 because the scientist wants proof. Without the proof, it's not scientific, right? No, you have to let go of that whole 2 + 2 = 4 world and enter into a whole new world. 2 + 2 = 4. You don't need proof when you have trust. You know, like that. We were talking here the other day about that movie, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Harrison Ford, in the third of the trilogies, he's shown a flight of stairs, but he only sees the first stair out of nowhere. But in order to see the second and third stair, it takes faith and trust to let go. Because if you have to see it there, it's not going to be there for you. You can't see it. You've got to trust that you are, as God created you, perfect. You can't make this stuff up. You can't find it in this world. You can only be and have what God is. And with that, I'll turn it back on over to you, Myrna Love. The mic is off.
Yes. You mentioned scientists. I heard a scientist say that there was a time that scientists only believed in what was knowable. But now scientists recognize that there's more than that, that they can see that consciousness, matter, energy plays a huge part in human consciousness. And I thought that was quite interesting. But what you say, yes, the world, no, is not real. It isn't. And if we have that faith, have that trust, and stay with it, then we can't go wrong, because it gives us peace. And what we're really striving for is peace. That's all we want. We want peace within ourselves. We're not going to find it in the outer world. We're not going to find it anywhere other than within. And once we recognize that peace can be found, that it is a place that is definitely there for us, because God, I mean, the Course in Miracles, Jesus offers it to us in every single page that we pick up, relates to finding peace. I think that's what's so miraculous about the Course in Miracles, because it indicates that peace is all we really want. And people want that. Everybody wants peace, or most people do. I don't know what's going on right now. I kind of waver in that understanding. But anyway, today's lesson is perfect, really. Lesson 290, my present happiness is all I see. My present happiness. What is my present happiness? Being in the moment, presently. You're right. You turn on the television and you sort of get pulled into a world of fear. At the same time, we want to feel peaceful. So it's holding on to our true beliefs. As I said before, I think if this happened 30 years ago, I probably would have been devastated, would have been glued to the television. I would have had my ideas, my ideal, everything that I was feeling, which was related to fear, would have come to the surface. As a Course in Miracles student, I'm less fearful, yes, because I strive for peace. I've gained it because I've stayed within the understanding of what the Course is teaching me. We want to feel peace in our hearts, and once we're feeling that, then it's all powerful. It's all, we can let it go. It's powerful. We can extend it. My present happiness is all I see. So I'm going to go into the Course in Miracles. Let me see if we can talk about that. Unless I look upon what is not there, my present happiness is all I see. So, like you said, it's not there, okay? It's really not there. In reality, it's not. So what's left? My present happiness. And present happiness relates to love. Eyes that begin to open, see at last. And yes, that is very true. Because once we open our eyes, we open our hearts. Once we want to see what's there, our hearts are connected to the truth. And so, we open our eyes and we begin to see the truth. For me, the Course in Miracles, with its very first page, pulled me into that. And then I started to get into the Course in Miracles. This was some 30 years ago, and I was really pulled into something that I truly could recognize. And I think people that know the Course, that read the Course in Miracles or discuss it, or are students of the Course in Miracles, see that there's no peace other than the peace that we gain by realizing who we are, the truth of who we are, the truth of who we are, love, that's it. And I would have Christ's vision come to me this very day. What I perceive without God's own correction for the sight I made is frightening and painful to behold. Yes, all we have to do is turn on the TV, especially now. And it is frightening to behold. Everything we see outside ourselves is frightening, shows us fear. And I wonder about that, because here I am today talking to you, feeling the peace of God within, knowing, touching you. And I was just talking to Sharon, and I just blew a kiss to Regis a little while ago. And, that connection is all powerful. It really is. I want to mention also Lynn Johnson. She's also amazing. And we're all connected to the same, we have the same goals. And the goal is to attain the peace of God. What I perceive without God's own correction for the sight I made is frightening and painful to behold. I read that. Yet I would not allow my mind to be delivered by the belief the dream I made is real an instant longer. So at this very instant, we don't want to hold on to a moment of fear. And we have to let it go. We have to let it go. No matter what we see that's going on in the world around us, beside us, across the street from us, or across the world from us, whatever we see that seems to be frightening is only our mind putting us into a place that doesn't recognize God. Without God, we can do nothing. Without God, we can feel nothing. And that we've learned, and we discuss that quite often. This day I seek my present happiness and look on nothing else. except the thing I seek. And how do we maintain that? We maintain that in the total understanding, the total belief that we are truly God's creations. And that's it, nothing more. That's what we are now. That's what we were before. That's what we'll be after. That's what we'll be in the moment, because the present moment is all that exists anyway. So we have to know that even though we don't recognize, the world seems not to recognize peace, I think a large part of the world is in peace. I think we are. I mean, the book, The Age of the Heart, tells us that we are in a place right now that is a very good place to be in. We're in a place of understanding love. 30 years ago, did we really understand what true love was? We've come a long way in the past 30 years with all the material and all the seeing with our eyes open that we are only beloved instruments of God. Instruments of God, spreading the word, spreading our feelings, being giving in a way that offers kindness to the world. And the prayer, I'll read the prayer. Okay. With this resolve, I come to you. You with a capital Y means God, and ask your strength to hold me up today while I seek to do your will. You cannot fail to hear me, Father. What I ask, have you already given me? And I am sure that I will see my happiness today. And I feel my happiness today. So this is truth. God is giving me my happiness right now, being in this place in time, in recognition of the truth, the reality of all that is, and nothing less than that. And it's a wonderful prayer because it tells us to rely on God. There's nothing else to rely on. We can't fail that way. We can't fail if we unite with spirit and with all our brothers and sisters who are created and are connected to spirit as we are. We're no different. So I believe that our thoughts, I truly believe too that our thoughts as a unified combination of all our with all our brothers and sisters unified together, we can create a better world, even seeing a better world. And I believe that is in the process right now. I do. Anyway, I turn it over to you, Doug.
All right, you went through a lot of stuff there, and you pulled out of that lesson the same thing that I was looking at too as well. But before we get into that, I see that Cindy in the room has said a few things I'll just mention here. She starts off by saying somehow they believe going to war with each other will bring them peace. I'll stop there. Actually, the word somehow is kind of vague. No, the ego only wants war because it doesn't want peace. So the ego has no interest in peace. If you read the three lessons of the whole, both in the three lessons of the Holy Spirit and in the four obstacles to peace, number one obstacle is the desire to get rid of it. So ego is not looking for peace. It wants to win at someone else's expense of losing. In truth, that's impossible. So this is an impossible thing that we're watching, but we think it's real. It's impossible. It's an impossible dream that we're dreaming and see it out on the screen, the movie screen, and we come up with all kinds of theories, none of which is true because what you're looking at isn't real. Can you imagine that? What you're looking at isn't real. Now to go back to what you were just sharing from the middle of today's lesson, he says, what I perceive without God's own correction, notice there's a capital G on own, on God, capital O on own, and a capital C on correction. He's talking about something that is divine. For the sight that I made is frightening and painful to behold. Now, what is God's own correction? Let's look at it. He tells us over and over what it is. And he says, all you have to do is accept it. And we spoke about this back on Yom Kippur. What is Yom Kippur? It's the Day of the Atonement. And it's not something that he grants to you if you pray and you do all the right things and you don't commit any sins. That's called behavior. And this course has nothing to do with behavior. It has everything to do with the mind of God, the one mind that we're all in. So accepting the atonement says that what you believe to be true, this belief in this insane world of separation and differences and different realities and their ideas and my ideas, and they're different ideas, and we're going to destroy their ideas because their ideas threaten our ideas. As long as you're in that kind of a world, the world is always at war because it's always you or me. That's called sacrifice. Yeah, we come here to be crucified. Yeah, the wages of sin are death. You can't get out of this world without losing your body. But I wonder if losing your body is such a bad thing. Well, it is a bad thing if you think you're a body. But he tells you 23 times in this course, I'm not a body. I'm free of this body. I am still, as love created me, perfect and pure and innocent and whole. Shalom, the Hebrew name for peace. Nothing is missing, nothing is broken, nothing is lacking. I am as love created me. So when I perceive atonement, which is offered to me freely as a gift, the gift of love from the creator of the universe, do I accept the atonement now, or say, well, maybe after the war, I'll see what happens then? And there is no then. And as you were saying, Myrna, something outside of me, he tells you in simple terms. Chapter 18, section 6 is called Outside the Body. That's the name of this section. And what does the first line say? What's the first line say? There's nothing outside of you. There's nothing outside of you. This is what you must ultimately learn. Now, when I first read that some 40-something years ago, I said, what? There's nothing outside of me? This is what I must ultimately learn? So I looked at the word ultimately, and I said, yeah, you're right. One day I'll learn this to be true. That was 40 years ago. I'm standing in an airport with John Mundy a few years back, and we're looking at this very same sentence, and John says to me, do you know what the word ultimately means? So since I had a vague idea, and I didn't really know what John was going to say, so I said, tell me. He says, ultimately means now. Only now is real. There is no future. One day I'll understand it. Excuse me, that's the ego. The ego said, one day I'll understand this stuff, but I'm not there yet. No, there is no ego. There is the Son of God who says, there is one. We are one. I and the Father are one. E pluribus unum. For many, there is one. And what makes it one? We all share the same purpose. Purpose is of mind. Purpose is truth. And what is the truth? If you love the truth, you must find the truth. And yesterday, it was Sunday, I was teaching on Maureen Muldoon's daily thing. Lynn teaches on Saturday. I teach on Sunday, and I got to teach on lesson 107. One of my favorite lessons. Truth will correct all the errors of my mind. Huh? Truth is going to correct all my mistakes? Yep. How is it going to do that? Because only the truth is true and nothing else is true. Everything else is a joke. You know, everything else is a 3-act play or a 2-act play. And as Cindy said in the room, and I'm going to quote her, Cindy has some good, juicy quotes here. She says, this unseen kingdom thrives as Act 1, Scene 2. That's all it is, a dark comedy. You got to laugh. Nothing here is real. You got to laugh. It's a joke. Taking the ego lightly is all you can do. You take anything in this world seriously, you're in a prison. You want to be free? Take nothing here seriously. And with that, I'll turn this mic back on. Over to you, Myrna.
Yes, yes. We know that. We talk about that. Don't take anything seriously. And then when something like this happens, the ego tells us, well, this is different. You know, this is something you need to take seriously. It doesn't relate to everything else. You know, up until now, yes, it's true what you're saying, but I'm talking about what comes from the ego. So you look at something like what's happening now. I mean, it's probably the biggest thing we've seen in a very long time. There's a war going on, you know. I mean, you know, whether it's real or not, I mean, it on some level it's happened. But like you say, you know, if you can even look at this and say, I'm not going to buy into that, it's a wonderful thing. It really is, because we are then really living the course. We're not just reading it, talking about it, discussing it, and then going back to our ego thoughts. You know, to really adhere to the course, we have to live it. And even this, as you say, you know, you're putting this down, you know, in a way that is undeniable. It's nothing is real. We know that, and that's why it's so important to be in the present moment, because you know the present moment is without fear. You know, when we are not experiencing peace, we're in fear. And it's so easy to be fearful, really, in this world. It's not an easy world to comprehend, but it's really simple to let go of it, because all we have to do is do it. For some reason, unfortunately, it takes us years. Like you said, 40 years ago, you picked up the Course in Miracles. You've been hanging on to it for 40 years. For me, it's been 33 years. I first picked it up in 1990. So it doesn't easily happen because we don't allow it to happen. We're too involved and too connected and too in love, really, with our ego, because the ego is a part of us that is seems to be overpowering. We made it, and we want to let go of it, but then something happens that tells us that we don't want to let go of it. We want to hang on to what we believe the ego is telling us. So here it is at this time and place. You know, we're discussing a war in the Middle East, which is even that, as big as it seems and as illuminating as it seems, if we can see through it and see that we really need to stay true to ourselves, see true to the belief that there is only love, and not look outside of that, then we can then feel peace, feel peaceful. And and obviously, you know, I think you're doing a great job of it, because you're describing it so truthfully. You're taking today's what's happening in today's world, and you're saying yes, even that is a big lie, because it's not real, because it's not love, it's not what God would know. God didn't create havoc, God didn't create misfortune, God didn't create wars, God didn't create any of that. So it's people that created that. So if we can stay within the realm of love and feel that and believe that it's something that is only true, then only good can come of that, I believe. And what is good? Only good can come. There is no bad, there is no good. Only peace can come of that. And that's all we want to feel is peace. And we want to believe that nothing outside of us can hurt us, which is true. I look at myself, here I am. I say to myself sometimes, I've been around for eons. Here I am today. I've been through, there were so many times I could have, growing up, been at risk of an accident, something that I avoided. It wasn't me, I'm still here. 82 years later, here I am talking about this. I think at a time when I was a kid, I was 12 years old, and my friend and I used to like to walk around the edge. There was a subway an underground subway. Above that, there was a ledge, and it was such a tiny ledge. And I was walking around it, showing that I could, that I could do that. Look at me. It was really, it was something. All I needed to do was slip. My shoe could have just slipped, and I would have been, crushed to death. What saved me? I'm still here, and so we have to look at that and say, look, we've survived all these years. We've managed to be in a place where we're not experiencing the belief that we can die. We know that we're not going to die. Whatever happens, it's only our bodies that are at risk of dying, just the body, but the spirit goes on. It goes on forever. And I like to feel that connection to the spirit of love, how I was saved from, according to the ego, saved from the depths of throes of devastation when I could have fallen. I've avoided car accidents. Things like that, where you come to see that you make it through. You're able to now understand that you survived. You did survive. Your body survived, but the body is not all there is. It's true, because people are dying right now. Their bodies are being slaughtered. And yet, when you understand that it's only the spirit that's recognizable and that you connect to, then what else do you have to worry about then? Nothing. I turn it over to you, Doug.
All right. You covered a lot of our universe there. Yeah, you're right. If you come here to this world of separation, we're basically saying that I'm here to survive. So survival is the purpose of the separated ones, meaning it's either you or me. One of us is going to lose and one of us is going to win, and I'd rather be the winner. So we're at cross purposes. We don't share the same purpose. We are divided. We're in conflict. That's why the world is insane. God doesn't create conflict, but we think that we're separate from God. That same thing is saying that I'm afraid that I'm unloved. I got to do something in order to be loved. I want to be special. I want to do things. I want to accomplish. Reminds me of that sentence in the Course in Miracles. He doesn't say this. These are my words. He said, "You don't really know your ass from your elbow." That's New Yorkese for what the Course says. what you think are your greatest successes are actually your deepest retreats. And what you think are your deepest retreats or your failures are really your greatest successes. In other words, you don't know your ass from your elbow. You think you have to do something in order to finally be somebody. If I don't do something, I'll never be what I see other people being, and they're far ahead of me. I got to catch up. That's pretty much why so many people are doing the course. And you ask them, like, how would you like to take your place among the teachers here at ACIM Gather? And sometimes you hear them say, I'm not there yet. I will be next year. No, that's the ego speaking. Ego is saying, I'm not there yet. Ego loves to look into the future, but the future doesn't really exist. The only thing that's real is now. Do you think that Jesus would ask you to do something that you couldn't do, really? He says, I need devoted teachers to show people how to heal their minds. I need devoted teachers. And we're all equal devoted teachers. But if the ego has its way, it says, I'm not there yet. I'm not one of those, I'll let you do it because you're right now more knowledgeable than me. The word more is the Antichrist. There's no such thing as more, literally. Equality means sameness. There's no more in sameness. So, yeah. So when you ask that question about, what can I do to get out of this thought of I got to do something, I want to survive, but you can't survive in an imaginary world. You must leave it. That's the only way of getting yourself out of prison and being free. Yeah, I like.
Sorry, I'm still not sure about that.
That was my phone. Sorry about that.
That's okay. That's
Phone just piped in. I don't know what caused it.
everything is always perfect. Everything is
wasn't me,
always
it was my
perfect.
phone.
Whatever it is, it's perfect. So in lesson 44, paragraph 8, he says, salvation is your happiest accomplishment. Now, I mean, what is it that you could possibly want that's going to make you happy? He tells you. Salvation, which is another word for truth, which is another word for forgiveness. Don't get caught up in words. Webster loves to have differences in words. No, they all say the same thing. Salvation, truth, forgiveness is your happiest accomplishment. And then he tells you why. It's also the only one, keyword is only, that has any meaning, because it's the only one that has any real use to you at all. You can't use anything else. Anything else would keep you stuck. Like white on rice, like sticky glue, like crazy glue. You go crazy trying to get out of something you can't get out of, one of those Chinese traps where no matter the harder you pull, the more you're trapped. Kind of like, and I remember Regis mentioned this, we both like to use what webs we weave when we set out to deceive. This world is a deception. We got caught up in our own deception. You spider to the fly, come on in, the water's fine. And as soon as you get sticky stuff on you, you're mine. You're stuck. Crazy glue. You gotta laugh. So the only thing that has any real use to you at all is salvation. And what is salvation? He tells you. Salvation is accepting the atonement for yourself. Lesson 139. Only salvation can be said to work, can be said to cure. And what is salvation? I accept the atonement for myself, but what I think happened never happened. I don't want to deceive myself anymore. I made a world of deception and I got stuck in it. It doesn't mean anything. But as long as I give anything here in this world meaning, I am stuck. I have deceived myself. I mean, we are both the spider and the fly. You got to laugh. We made it all up. There's no exceptions or deception in the mind of God.
Sorry.
Jeez, my phone.
It's okay, Myrna. Sorry is perfect. Sorry, Charlie. Sorry, Charlie.
From now
All
on,
right,
phone.
I was going to say, with a few minutes left, I'll give you the last couple of minutes, and just reminding everyone that tonight, Tuesday night, is Finding Your Inner Guide Teacher. Please join us at ACIM Gather Zoom at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Over to you, Myrna.
Yes, I must apologize for my phone interference. I don't know, it keeps talking.
No apologies
From now on, I
necessary.
leave it inside where it belongs, not here. Anyway, so any interference was not me, it was that. The phone or me, either of us is real, right? We're both illusions. Anyway, yeah, you mentioned last couple of minutes, devoted teachers. I think we are devoted teachers because we came into the world to save ourselves. Really, that's what we came here to do. I think that was why we're here. I believe that. And as devoted teachers, we are devoted to the cause of waking up. And we're given the tools to do that by, we have the power to do that, to wake up. And we are, extending ourselves to that particular power that we have. The understanding that we do have a purpose here. I mean, we talk about the world being unreal. It is unreal, but yet the world does serve a purpose. It serves the purpose to put us in a position of waking up and waking up our brothers and sisters as well, through the truth, through our love, through our connection that we're all connected to, which is God's spirit. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, there's a minute to go. We're almost at the bottom of the hour. Yeah, we speak about love. We speak about being connected to love, but unless we process it by knowing that that's all we are, and now living by that, then we can't fail. I mean, we are on the right track. And to stay on the track, to stay on the path is our life's mission. So I do believe that. Anyway, I think we're at the bottom of the hour now.
Yeah. I'm just going to jump in. I posted this in the room and also in the chat. It comes to me, he says, you make what you defend. This is Jesus talking to us. You make what you defend against, and by your own defense against it, is it real and inescapable? So we are the spider and the fly together. We make this web of deception by defending ourselves from God. God, I can do this on my own. Oh, really? There's no my and there's no own. There is just my insanity. You want to return to a sane mind? You got to return to the love of God. There's nothing else that's real.
I just want to say thank you. Thank you, Myrna. Thank you, Dove. I've been listening, and it's been wonderful. And Regis too. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Only the truth is true, nothing else.
Thanks, you guys, so very much. And I so appreciate you, Myrna and Dove, and all of us here on ACIM Gather. What a wonderful, wonderful community we have here, and how grateful I am for everything that we all do. God bless you all. And
I have an idea, Len, if I can just jump in for a second.
sure, hang on.
If you're not going to be here on Thursday, if you can teach me about running the the Zoom, I can fill in. And,
All right,
and-
I will do that.
okay,
Good.
I'm here. I'm here whenever you have time. Love you.
Okay, very good.
Okay.
All right, love, and I will make that happen. All right, love you guys.